Hello and welcome to episode 1 of my Ultimate Tank Guide. Today we're going to be taking a look at the loadout options on offer and what will be best for you in order to rack up those big kill streaks, big point streaks, and ultimately help your team win the match. So kicking things off with my actual tank loadout, I run with the AP shell over the HE and Sabot shell. I believe the AP shell has the best splash damage, it's a good all-round shell to have, lower drop off than the HE as well, so it's a lot easier to use. I then run with the coaxial HMG. It's an absolute beast when taking down enemy infantry, taking down small armour, even air vehicles such as helicopters and jets. You can get quite a lot of damage on them quite quickly. Next up I run with the active protection. I think that's a no-brainer if you're in a tank. It will save your life more times than I'd like to mention. I then, for my optics, I run with thermal optics because you're going to pick up a lot more using them than you will with the other two. You can pick up C4, mines, slams, infantry that might sneak behind you. You know, you're going to see a lot more and get a lot more kills, be a lot more aware using the thermal optics. I then run with the autoloader as well. You can run with reactive armor if you get caught out a little bit because that will stop the critical hits, especially if you're getting hit from behind. But I like to run with the autoloader just because it keeps me more on the front foot, especially if I'm coming up against one or two tanks that I need to take down quickly. In terms of my gunner setup, I run with the thermal optic again. I can spot a lot more using that and be a real asset to the actual tank driver, and I find that especially as a gunner your job is to stop the infantry throwing C4 on you mainly and spotting things, and using the proximity scan alongside the gunner thermal is perfect for that. I found myself killing a lot more enemies once I switched to that setup. In terms of my actual engineer loadout, things have changed quite a lot since the spring patch. You really want to adjust your loadout to give yourself the best chance if you ever have to kill enemies on foot and have to bail from your tank and, you know, go cap an objective. Bearing that in mind, the best thing for me is going with a PDW, especially since the patch. They're a great alternative to assault rifles and a really good way to start, especially if you haven't really experimented that much. At the minute I'm having a go with the AS Val. I haven't really used it too much, but the CZ3A1 is possibly my favourite since the patch as well. It's still just like a laser. You can take down multiple enemies in small confined spaces. Really good. Going with the suppressor as well is always a good option because you stay off the minimap and you can sort of clear out buildings quite fast. As you can see the gameplay in the background, this is me just jumping out of the tank. I was the gunner in a tank, so I jumped out just to cap this objective, give my team a little bit of a helping hand. Also, running like this means that if you have a flag such as this one on road transmission that's a little bit tricky for a tank to take because it's surrounded by buildings, you can jump out as the gunner, go and cap the flag, and then jump back into your tank. As my secondary weapon I run with a G18. As you can see I haven't really unlocked the Deagle or Unica. I haven't looked into doing that, although I probably should do. The G18, fast firing, it's what I've always really used. It works well for me. Your first gadget I would recommend running with either the SMOR or the RPG. The RPG is a lot more powerful, so if you're quite accurate go with that one, but the SMOR is a lot easier to aim, especially at air vehicles. So gadget 2 you have to run with the repair tool. In terms of grenades I run with the M67 frag. You can take down C4, mines, slams, anything like that with it as well, get multiple kills on enemies. Probably the best one to go for. And in terms of your field upgrade, you pretty much have to run as a mechanic. You're going to get fast repair, less damage from explosives. Suppression is going to be lowered as well, which helps when you are repairing, and you are going to repair vehicles around you with that level 4 repair unit. Really useful, especially if both the gunner and the main driver are running with that setup. You can get a tank from low health to high health very fast indeed. As you can see in the background now, this is a little clip from Siege of Shanghai. This is when it all comes together and everything works for you. So I've got a tank on my left on a flag that's actually been capped by the enemy. Lots of infantry gunning for me. Popping APS at the perfect time as well, just to prevent him that shot. Jumping out, using the SMOR. As I said, you need to be running with a rocket launcher of some sort, taking down that tank and then moving forward straight away, neutralizing as many enemies as possible. As you see someone dropping mines or C4 and then taking down that MRAP as well. One other big change we have seen since the spring patch is the thermal optics. You're going to notice that things are a little bit different if you haven't really tried it too much before and you're used to the original thermal optics. As you can see with this freeze frame, the left hand side is the pre-patch and the right hand side is the post-patch. You can see there's quite a lot of difference there, especially with the distance that you can actually see. Obviously the pre-patch is a lot better because you can pretty much drive around with your thermal optics on non-stop and take out enemies one after the other, but I've got used to the post-patch thermal optics. I think they're still quite good, especially as they actually highlight enemies a lot lighter than the pre-patch thermal optics. So again, it's something you have to get used to, but it's definitely worth running with thermal optics. It's pretty much essential when running in a tank. Also, a very good tip for you guys, especially if you're just starting out in a tank, always make sure that you face your tank head on to whatever you're shooting. Your sides and rear of the tank are the weak spots, so as long as you're facing forward, you're going to have a lot better chance of taking down enemies. You know, you're going to find yourself winning a lot more battles, especially if you've got the jump on an enemy tank and you're the one shooting him in the side or the back. Also, something to bear in mind is when you are approaching an enemy tank, say you're in a tank battle and you see that he's popped APS, green means that the APS is working, so there's no point in wasting a shell. You should use that time to take down any surrounding enemies that you can with your HMG, making use of the splash damage of the AP shell and getting your positioning just perfect. And then the moment you see that APS go red, you can fire. It means that it's not going to be active anymore, and you know, you're going to make his APS pretty much useless if you time your shots at the perfect time. So that's definitely something to bear in mind. I hope you guys have enjoyed episode 1 of this tank tutorial. This is just going over my loadout, a couple of little tips. The next 2 episodes are going to be much more focused on what you should do in a tank in order to get these kill streaks. I hope you did enjoy. Click on the link for the next video and I'll see you in the next episode.